Hey y'all, welcome to SHeBREWS, where Christ, coffee, and culture connect. Listen, I am so excited to kick off this new month, August 2025. It is jam-packed. Some new things are happening for SHeBREWS, and today we kick off our very first episode in our new series, Faith-Filled Fridays. It's a new, like a sermon type series, and because today kicks off National Black Business Month, I will be dedicating the entire month to just insights and inspiration and just strategies on how we can do business God's way, whether we own a Christian business or not. If we are Christians that are in business, there's a way that we should do business, and the only way is God's way. And so we are going to unpack the Word of God and see what the Word has to say about owning and operating our businesses His way. Let's get into it. So welcome back to SHeBREWS, where Christ, coffee, and culture connect. Listen, I just can't even explain to you all how excited I am just to be walking in obedience and to be doing something that makes me scared as heck, right? I am literally just so nervous every time I have to do a video, but I'm going to continue to do it. And this is it. This is just SHeBREWS Unfiltered. And so let's get into it. So, like I said, this is August and it is the kickoff of National Black Business Month. And so we are going to look at the Word and see what God has to say about doing business His way. And we're going to start off with our boy Noah. Yes, Noah and the ark. He's going to give us some strategies on the blueprint and boat building. And if I was a preacher, which I am not, I would probably subtitle it in how to boss up when there's no rain in sight. How to boss up when there's no rain in sight. So let me ask a question. Have you ever been handed a vision? Has God ever had you do something in the season that you're in right now that made absolutely no sense whatsoever? Like, based on what you see, based on where you are, God had you do something, told you to do something that made no sense. It was almost crazy, like ridiculously crazy. Well, this is what God did with our friend Noah. He gave him a blueprint, or the blueprint, to build a boat when there wasn't a drop of rain in the sky. As a matter of fact, rain in this sense hadn't even been heard of before. So here it is. God is telling Noah, build this boat. I'm going to give you the blueprint. I'm going to let you know how it should be built, how wide, how long, what color, what type of wood, what materials. Yeah, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about this boat and this boat only. And guess what? Noah built it anyway, not having any intel, not having any other information other than a blueprint. That's it. And so that's what faith-filled business looks like. Like, you don't wait for the forecast. You follow God's foresight, because obedience is always on time. Even when the rain is delayed, obedience is always on time. So yeah, we're going to visit our friend Noah and unpack what I'm going to call the 3 B's of faith-filled business. Let's get into it. But I'm going to take a sip first. So here we go. The 3 B's of faith-filled business. Number 1 is Noah gets the blueprint before the breakdown. And then he exercises boldness before belief. And then he builds the boat before the breakthrough. So let's get into it. God gave Noah the blueprint, not the breakdown. In Genesis chapter 6, verses 14 through 16, and I'll just read a little piece of it. God says, make yourself an ark of gopher wood. And then the Lord begins to list out the specifications, the dimensions, and very exact in his instructions, specific in his instructions to Noah. Go make yourself an ark of gopher wood. That statement alone will preach, but we're going to move on. So the lesson in that one very short statement is God didn't give Noah a weather report. He gave him dimensions. Noah didn't get a full, business plan or a Q2 growth report. He got instructions to build something that had never been built before in preparation for something no one had ever seen. So here it is. He wasn't even clear about why he was building it. He just know who told him to build it, so he built it. And isn't that the same in business as Christians? We often want clarity before obedience. We want to know, God, why are you telling us to do this? Where are we going to go? What's going to happen when we go there? What's going to happen when we do this? But God says, I want obedience before confirmation. I want to know that if I tell you to do it, you're going to do it because I said it. And you trust and believe that if I said it, then that settles it. If I said it, that I am going to provide a way for you to complete it. And I think that's where we get it twisted. We put God on our level and he is not. We don't need all the answers to move when God speaks. We just need to know that we're receiving the right instructions. So when you know that God is speaking, we have to move in obedience, no matter how crazy it looks or seems. It may be crazy. Because not gonna lie, God telling Noah to build a boat. For what? God? What do you want me to do this for? Why? I don't understand. And that's so crazy to me. We don't have to understand. I'm guilty. We don't have to understand. No, we just have to acknowledge God as God and to know that if he says it, then I gotta trust it. So yeah, you don't need other answers to move. Just move. Okay, so we done talked about God gave Noah the blueprint and not the breakdown. So we're going to move into our point number 2, which is there was boldness before belief. Like, I'm sure that Noah probably was like, listen, I ain't never heard of no rain either, but God is telling me to build something that's going to protect us from the rain. I don't even know if I fully believe what God is saying, but I'm going to do it because God is saying it. I don't really believe what God is saying, but I'm still going to do it because God said it. So the boldness there, just Noah being able to, without question, right, go and build this boat exactly as God commanded him to do it. And not only exactly, but immediately. And I think it's the immediately part that's tripping me out in my own life, of how so many times I've heard God say, go, do, sing, teach, minister, give. And I was like, no, I don't think I should do that. Or I'm going to go one worse. I don't want to do that. You don't want me to do. Oh, God. You must be mistaken. Oh, yeah. Don't look at me crazy, because we're all guilty of it. God will tell us something that's just crazy, and we're looking at God like he's crazy. And then we'll make the decision not to carry it out because it's crazy. We don't understand what God is saying, but that's what faith is. 2 Corinthians 5:7 says that we walk by faith and not by sight. We may not see it or ever see what or why or where God has us going, but we have to believe and walk in boldness and obedience. And check this, Genesis 6:22, it says Noah did everything just as God commanded him. And because of that right there, it got him not only an honorable mention, but this man was now listed among the great faith walkers. He is in the Hebrews Hall of Faith. Hebrews 11 chapter 11 verse 7 to be exact says, by faith Noah condemned the world and became heir of the righteousness. His obedience was righteousness. His righteousness produced inheritance. Your children's children gonna be Gucci because you decided to go with God and not be fazed or bothered by what other people were saying or doing while you were operating in obedience. Because see, that's the trick too. That's the trick of the enemy too. He'll make sure that there are people around you watching you do this crazy thing that God has called you to do, just so they can sit back and be like, yeah, I told y'all, yeah, she off hope, rocker. She ain't wrapped too tight. Look at her. She don't know what she doing. Look at her. Just out here. Look, they look crazy. What? Why would you build a boat, Noah? You crazy as you crazy as ever. Why would you do that, Noah? And I can just see Auntie now, Uncle saying, baby, why that boy out there? Why that boy out there building that boat? We ain't never had no rain. So why this boy think it's okay to be out there using all this wood, taking up all this time where he could be going out there making some money or giving us some more uncles, nieces, and nephews and babies? I don't even know why I got this country accent, because I'm sure they didn't speak like that in Noah's time. But this is just how I envision it. Like they having this conversation on a porch, watching him build his boat, going back and forth to get the materials, to get the wood, going back and forth, hearing God, talking to himself like, God, I hear you, okay? You want me to do it this, okay. And they're just sitting back watching. And then the watching turns into mocking, and the mocking is gossiping, and now they're laughing, right? They were laughing at him, like probably behind his back, but now they're laughing in his face. Yeah. What is wrong with our boy Noah? Something wrong with him. Yeah. We're not gonna even pray for him. He hopeless. He's a lost cause. Let's just count him out. Oh my gosh. But that's what happens. People will mock the mission, because just like you don't understand, they don't understand either. And not only do they not understand, they don't even get why you were the one chosen to do it. So a lot of times it's not what you're doing, it's why were you called to do what you're doing, and not them. Oh, let me move. Here's the lesson. Faith-filled entrepreneurs have to be okay with being misunderstood. Noah was laughed at, he was called crazy, and he was probably, like myself, called too extra by not only the crowd or strangers, but by the people who were closest to him, by his own family. But he kept swinging that hammer. Building that boat, and he did not let the outside noise cancel his inside conviction. And that is the lesson, that we cannot let the outside noise cancel our inside conviction. The favor from God, the favor that Noah received from the Lord to get this privy information. Yeah, that was favor, and it didn't require validation from anyone. Noah didn't have to get approval from the people that were mocking him. He just needed to execute it. And here I'm going to give you a KIMism real quick. A lot of times when we procrastinate on what we know God has ordered us to do, we sit in it and we think about it, or we overthink ourselves outside, or we overthink ourselves out of the favor of God. And we wonder why we sitting here like, okay, God, what? Well, guess what? Favor is on the other side of execution. Favor is on the other side of obedience. giving us instructions to do something. We just need to do it, execute it. And then favor, guess what? It comes falling down. Just like that rain that was getting ready to pour down on our friends, the friends of Noah, the family members of Noah. So guess what? We cannot worry about what's happening, the outside noise. We have to make sure that the inside conviction that we feel from the Lord, that we know is from the Lord, we need to execute it. Period. Point blank. I'm going to take a sip. I'll be right back. All right, guys, we are almost done. I promise I'm not going to hold you. So our friend Noah is teaching us how to do business God's way. And first, we learned that he got the blueprint before the breakdown. And then after that, he exercised like big boldness before belief. And he continued to build even when they mocked his mission. And so finally, what Noah is teaching us is, I'm going to build the boat before the breakthrough. I'm going to execute what God has told me to do. And there's something on the other side of this build. There's something on the other side of this obedience, like we just said. That's where the favor comes in, on the other side of obedience. And so now that he's building the boat in obedience, it now becomes a vessel for generations. Check it. Genesis chapter 7, verse 1 and verse 23 says, "Go into the ark, you and your whole family." You and your whole. This wasn't just about Noah. His obedience. This boat, it wasn't just about Noah. It was about the people that were connected to Noah. The word, it's in the text. Go into the ark, you and your whole family. So because of his obedience, it didn't just save him, but it created a space for his family, his future, and for generations to come. So, listen, that business, that brand, that book, that tour, that YouTube channel, right? What if it's the very ark that protects and provides for those who are connected to you? What if your yes is like the umbrella for someone else's storm? What if your yes, regardless of how crazy what you're saying yes to may be, what if your yes will lead to someone else's deliverance, someone else's redemption, someone else's salvation, someone else's protection and provision? We never know how loaded the yes is. And guess what? It ain't our business how loaded the yes is. We just have to give the Lord the yes. Instead of the I don't knows and the overthinking. We have to stop. We have to stop. Give God your yes. I don't know what's on the other side of your yes. I don't know what's going to come with the yes. Heck, I don't even know what's coming with the yes that I've given the Lord in this season. But I just have to believe that God is not setting me up to destroy me. No, that's not the type of God that I serve. I do believe that there's some graceful breaking happening. I do believe that there's some refining happening. I do believe that my yes is going to come with some woes, some ohs, and some oh my, and some what the, right? But I just gotta ride this thing out, because I've overthought myself out of a lot of favor, out of a lot of provision, out of a lot of blessings. because of fear, because of procrastination, because I just didn't want to do it, right? No, I'm going to ride this yes out. I got to see. Because here's the thing. I'm surrendering it to the Lord, finally. And I have to believe that now that I'm not leaning to my own understanding, that even if I'm on the wrong path, God is going to direct me. He's going to reroute me, because that's what his word says in Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. That if I don't lean to my own understanding, and if I acknowledge him in all my ways, that he will direct my path. So even if I do get off, he says, I'm going to direct your path because you're giving it to me. I'm going to give him the, you know what, I'm not so sure if this is what I'm supposed to be doing, but I'm going to ride this thing out and believe that you're going to order my step. And that's just period. So here it is. The fruit of his faith. The fruit of his yes didn't just bless him, but it blessed its entire family, his whole family. His whole bloodline was blessed because of his yes. That's so good to me. That's so good. I gotta take a sip. I'll be right back. And so if I was a preacher, again, which I am not, this would be a perfect time to tune up, right? I would give you and y'all don't hear me. Noah teaches us to obey the blueprint before the breakdown. Point to yourself and say, build, child, build. Yeah. Say, build, child, build. Yeah. Even when they mock the mission, build anyhow. Yeah. Point to yourself again and say, build, my child, build. Yeah, build. Finally, Noah teaches us that when we build in obedience, we're not only building up a bank account, but we're also building legacy. You see, it's in the obedient build that God protects, that God provides for not only you, but for your children's children. Point to yourself and say for the last time, build, child, build. I say, build, child, build. One more time, say, build, child, build. Build, child, build. Yes, build. I ain't no preacher. Y'all crazy. But in the words of the Pastor Warner J. Pitts of the St. James Industrial Church on the south side of Chicago, in his words, let me cut across the field. I just want to say to you, friends, that here's the thing. Don't wait on the rain. Don't wait for an applause. Don't wait for the approval of others. Don't wait for confirmation, affirmation. Build the business. Launch the product. Write the proposal. Write the grant. Write the book. Start the podcast. Apply for the grant. Follow the blueprint and swing your hammer with faith, just like our friend Noah did. Build. Build. That's the lesson that Noah teaches us in this first lesson on doing business God's way. Build in obedience. Build. If God is telling you to build, honey, then build. God is definitely brewing over here. Okay, and so I'm just going to ask us this question. What is your blueprint? What is your business blueprint? And then have you been ignoring God's specific strategy for your business? Like, have you been ignoring him? Yeah. That's worth another coffee sip. Have you been ignoring him? Sip on that. Meditate on that. Study Noah in Genesis chapter 6. And so there you have it. Every Friday this month, we're getting in this word and we're sharing what God has to say about doing business His way. So this is Faith Filled Friday. This is what it's all about. And so remember, I'm dedicating the entire month of August with these types of insights, inspiration, and strategies on how to do business God's way. Happy National Black Business Month. Happy Friday. This is SHeBREWS, where Christ, coffee, and culture connect. Listen, if you believe God brewed this word just for you, please like this video, share this video, subscribe, and turn on your notifications. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. Please feel free to drop a comment about Noah, our friend Noah, and what he's taught us about doing business God's way. It's time to build. How about you drop that in the comments? Say, I'm building. I'm getting ready to build. Put that in the comments. And then just any other thoughts and reflections that you've had from Noah and Genesis chapter 6. So again, this is SHeBREWS, where Christ, coffee, and culture connect. Subscribe. Please like this video and share. Cheers.